Namaste. Welcome to this series on foundational concepts of Sanatana Dharma. In today's session, we are going to look at the Panchakosha. So, when we say kosha, people often translate it as a layer or a sheath. But the better way to understand it is in terms of composites. Just as many composite materials come together to form something, or even if you take say, for example, a mobile phone or a laptop, many things come together: the hardware, the software, the communication system, the signals. All this come together to form that particular system. So that way, the Panchakosha can be looked at as various composites or that compositions of the living system. So the entire universe can be looked at from the lens of the Panchakosha. And one of the easiest ways to understand it is by looking at the human system, because we can relate to it naturally. So the five koshas include Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. There are numerous texts in Sanatana Dharma that talk of the Panchakoshas. In fact, who we really are in terms of the Atman is beyond the Panchakosha. That is what the Tattva Bodha, which is a Prakarana Grantha, beginner's text on Advaita Vedanta, talks of. It says Panchakosha Tita, we are beyond the Panchakoshas. And the Annamaya Kosha is, the name says, Anna. So it is basically born out of food, it grows because of food, and then it goes back to the earth. That is Annamaya Kosha. So whatever is sustained, whichever part of the system is sustained because of food. So if we look at the human system, our entire body is sustained because of food. The food that we eat is transformed into energy. It also ensures circulation of blood and all that. And hence, the Annamaya Kosha is that physical system, which is basically formed out of food. And it is also matter in that sense, because matter is what has come together to create this reality around us. The Pranamaya Kosha is basically the Pancha Pranas and the Karmendriyas put together. And does it sound complex? Don't worry about it. The Pancha Prana are the various, the energy systems that flow or make the flow inside the body happen. And they are also, the Pancha Prana are also responsible for moving the organs of action, whether it is the hands, whether it is the legs, or whether it is speech, or whether it is excretion or reproduction. We need some energy system to be able to move it and make it function. So that is Prana. And that is the Pranamaya Kosha. Regarding the Pancha Pranas, we will look at it in another session. The Manomaya Kosha is basically the Manas or the mind together with the Jnanendriyas. So you have the Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas. The Jnanendriyas are cognitive faculties, which include the sense of touch, the sense of taste, the visual senses, the auditory senses, and the sense of smell. So the mind together with these senses is the Manomaya Kosha. So imagine a scenario where you are looking at something. Say, for example, you are participating in a class. And suppose you are not focusing on what is happening in that lecture. Your mind is elsewhere. Do you hear what the teacher is saying? Are you able to see what the teacher is writing? No, isn't it? And hence you need the participation of the mind in order to be able to grasp certain things. Though the ear is still hearing, but it doesn't really register. So the mind combined with these cognitive faculties is the Manomaya Kosha. The Vijnanamaya Kosha is again to do with the cognitive faculties, but here now the intellect is mingled with them. So the intellect plus these Jnanendriya include the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Because you need the buddhi or the intellect to direct these senses, so that whatever you want to focus on, you're able to do it. And you're also able to decode it in a proper manner. And the Anandamaya Kosha is full of Ananda. And when we say Ananda, it is not just outward happiness. It is the core sense of bliss that we experience. And it does not have any other aspects, right? Because it is the one that makes the other koshas function. It is the core of who we are. However, It is still limited, it is still not the Atman, but nevertheless, it is a fundamental happiness or fundamental bliss that we experience. So that is the Anandamaya kosha. So we have looked at the five koshas in terms of Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya. Of course, this Anandamaya needs a little more clarification, which we will take up in another session. Namaste.